enjoy what we do, if you get value from our content, if you dig this platform, please consider becoming a Talking Town 5th standard today by hitting the join button on YouTube or heading to our Ko-Fi site for as little as $4.99 a month. A staggering £1.24 approximately a week. What can you get for that these days? Amazing value. So, if you dig us, if you enjoy our content, if you love what I do, please head to the join button on YouTube or the Ko-Fi site. Become a 5th standard today. You can cancel it any time. It's free to cancel any point you wish. And if you can't, do not worry. But if you can, I'd be eternally grateful. And of course, you get access to the perk of joining the Talking Town Discord server. A 24/7, 365 ITFC chat. Get involved. We'll speak soon. Mwah. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to a very different feeling Portman Road for your fan reaction full-time show. I'm, of course, your host, the Governor, and I'm going to join very shortly by the wonderful ITFC fans. We've got various and several lined up for you this evening to discuss what is a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Lincoln. Well played to the visitors, who were solid, compact, took their goal well, and overall were the better side, I feel, for the first, so certainly the first half, maybe not the second. But you get your comments in, live chat as always. Support us on YouTube, hit the join button, Ko-Fi of course, but I'm joined by Alex Wilson first and foremost. Alex, you said off air, days like that happen.
They do. You know, we're one of the top teams in League One. You know, you're going to get those teams like Lincoln that are coming for a point. They're going to score an early corner and they'll sit in. And it will happen. And what we need to learn as fans, I'm going to say, is we're going to win these games, but not jump off a cliff when we lose. And judging what I've heard as I came out of there tonight, you would think the world's flipping ended. You think they're on the white cliffs of David jumping off a fucking edge.
Let me pose the question to you on air that I posed off air. Our promotion winning seasons built off 1-0 defeats to 16th place teams.
Promotion winning teams are built for a whole season, not one game.
Yeah.
Not one game.
You have to earn the right, though, to be promoted.
The thing is, if we win against Derby, this will be forgotten about.
Absolutely, but that's a big if. And then, you know, as always, the post-game show is in the middle of the whirlwind that is the emotion, and it's raw. And
as a League One, as a top-tier League One side, you're going to get those teams that are going to they'll score. They did nothing apart from score a corner. All right, and the thing is, end of the day, they're going to come and they're going to sit.
Yeah.
And as many things as we wear down, like we wore Cambridge down, we've worn so many other. We wore Burton down. You're going to be those teams that are so up for it.
Yeah.
And it was Mark. Don't forget, their manager is Mark Kennedy, and he's going to want to come back here and get one over.
Yeah.
End of the day, you're going to get those teams that are going to not, you know, they're going to be that for it, but.
Yeah, but
guys, every single fan base, this game is a 46-game season, not a 14-game season. You will lose games. We lost 8 games last year. We've lost 2 by October. Let's calm down.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But let's focus on the actual game then today. Yep. So, a game of 2 halves, very much so. First half,
we were poor. I'll grant you that. We were poor all day long.
Do you feel, because after I'm getting a bit of stick off here, because I said only last night, and I live by those words, it's only Lincoln. You live, you die by the sword, as it were.
Yep.
Do you feel the players themselves maybe coming over, looking Lincoln, looking ahead to Derby on the Friday, Sky cameras coming down?
I think there might be something certainly in the first half, because you look at the intensity and the speed in the second half compared to the first half. But then you could say that against Morecambe last week.
Good comment.
You know, we did the same thing last week, you know. And last week we got an early goal from the corner and a penalty. This week we didn't. You know, we've got to learn to be at it all game, every game.
Absolutely.
Because if we've been at it all game, we would have passed that off the bar. Because they were dead. Their number 24 defender, embarrassment, absolute embarrassment.
It's a fair comment. It's not one that I don't think many people would disagree with. Home walked out of there. Why was he embarrassment? Just clear that up.
What was the embarrassment? He got the lightest ball kicked against him and he sat down like he was like, I could have walked further than he did by the fucking end of that. Jesus Christ.
Fair enough. Great. I mean, you know, yeah, they were time wasting. That Richard will come on in a minute and say that is football.
But at the same time, if we were Lincoln,
you'd be doing the same.
We'd be doing the same thing.
Spot on. Yeah, I do agree.
You can't begrudge
They've come. They've done a job.
They came looking for a point. They got 3. Of course, they're going to time waste.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's really tough in a 1-0 defeat. But what one player stood out from Town before I bring on the milk tray?
What one player stood out for Town?
So that's a worry when it's 1-0 defeat. Granted,
yep.
But when you see, is that because there's too many for you, or is that because not enough step forward?
But the thing is, our build-up play was good. So if you look at players like Lee Evans, for example, he had another good game. End of the day, we haven't got that player that you can guarantee going to put it in the net at the minute.
Okay, all right, fair point. See you later, boys. Look after yourselves. Ben, the Soccer Brothers are out of here. Ben, I'll bring you in right now. I'll give you this microphone. To me, to you. Alex just said he enjoyed our build-up play today. How did you see our build-up play?
Was it build-up play? I don't really know what it was, really. I think it was containment play. I think I'm quite philosophical about today. Kieran McKenna plays a certain kind of football, and you're going to get games like this. He doesn't play with what you call a striker or two. We don't have a striker at this club, and this is a game that showed it. 32 corners, 32 shots, 14 corners, 8 layoffs in front of an open goal. A striker with any kind of form will put one of them in. When the goals drive elsewhere, that's when you need a striker, and we did not have one today. And Ladapo, before he went off, yes, he does hold up the ball a bit, but he doesn't score. Caden, when he came on, yes, he ran at them and he was okay, but he didn't score. Today are the days where you need a striker. And when you don't have a striker, you don't win. You need 3 or 4 results like this and you don't get promoted, which is why I'm so desperate for a striker. But I think this was a day where a lot of key players had off games all at the same time. And Lincoln, I've got to take my hat off. How they are 18th, I'll never know. That is the most disciplined, well-organised, consistent and fit team I've seen at Portman Road in a year and a half.
I certainly underestimated them.
From the first minute, they had our number to the last minute. So my hat's off to Lincoln because that was a disciplined, prepared performance. And they had us right from the first get-go.
You mentioned the striker there.
Yeah.
He took off Ladapo, obviously.
Yeah.
Brought on Tyrese John-Jules. So me, I feel that was the wrong substitution because if you're going to put balls in the box, if you're going to ask the ball to stick, there's no one better that I want than Freddie Ladapo in that box. And I felt towards the end with Caden whipping those balls in, they just lacked somebody in that.
I've got a live stat thing on my phone. By the time Ladapo came off, we'd had 19 shots on target, and Ladapo hadn't gotten any one of them.
No, that's true.
He lost every header. He had not a lot of completed passes. No, he was. I just don't think he's good enough for me. No, he's a good hold-up player, but have him as a centre forward. We need a striker, and I said this about a month ago. On a long enough time scale, a lack of a striker will cost you. And this was the first game. I feel it truly cost us.
Where's Hadmi? Does anyone know what is
injured? Yeah, he's injured.
He's done his metatarsal as far as I know in training.
Good God. Okay, fair enough. That's a disappointment, and for him and for the football club, obviously, players could have brought on there at some point.
Yeah.
Not able to.
I think. Let's get philosophical. We've played so well. We've played so well this season, and we've done it the Kieran McKenna way. The way Kieran plays football, games like this. Wow, there it goes. Games like this are going to happen. You've just got to accept that this is a style of football and it doesn't always work. So I would say something on the lines of keep calm and carry on. It's when you get your microphone, my kind of ending was keep calm and carry on.
Keep calm and carry on. But you were just saying something to me there. What?
You know, back in the day, we said this on the podcast many times. You know, we can tolerate a loss.
Yeah.
When we play well, like we did that second half. Right, we can't tolerate it a poor loss. That wasn't a poor loss. That was not a poor loss. That's progression. Results like that will happen.
I agree with you completely.
We keep calm.
Yeah.
We carry on. We do not jump off the Dover cliff thinking this is the end. Kieran McKenna's rubbish.
Yeah.
This is the blip.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And if we beat Derby on Friday, it'll all be forgotten about and we'll move on.
Sky, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Before I bring in Mark, for a bit of international flavour.
Yeah.
So I asked that the same question. And what one player stood up to you in this afternoon in a Town shirt?
It had to be a player that came on, I think. Edwards. Edwards. When he came on, I thought his ball stuck to his feet. He got behind the player 4 or 5 times. He put 3 good balls in. And yet again, he came on the pitch and was the man of the match. And we've said that 3 times this season now, which is a bit worrying.
Yeah.
It's a bit worrying.
Okay.
But for me, had a good game when he came on. Hopefully he starts on Friday on Sky TV, which has always been very fortuitous for us.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
How delightful. Mark, flown in yesterday, flying out tomorrow.
I flown in this morning.
This morning, good grief, on the pink eye.
At 2:15, I got out of my bed and I'm here to watch this nonsense.
And
This wasn't value for money.
No, how come? Talk to me. What?
Talk to me about it. When I've been looking obviously from the iFollow couch
Absolutely.
and all that. And the last time I was here against Haybridge, they performed the exact same way. I'm not saying they didn't turn up. I suppose I will say they didn't turn up. For me, only 2 players done much today. Morrissey and Wolfenden. The rest of them are very much League One players. They look like a League One team. I couldn't believe the substitutions weren't quick enough. Then again, I could have swapped the whole forward line. They just were afraid to shoot. So I don't know what was going on. They were afraid to shoot today. And I don't know why. They kept on passing the ball back and I'm going, but their goal is that way. You know, this is League One. We're supposed to be going as champions. We looked like a League One team today. Very much a League One team today. And I don't know how they're going to pick themselves up for Derby, because Derby are going to be up for it. They're going to have a laugh going, this is how Ipswich play. You know, yes, I know they were all off. Everyone had a bad game. But you know, these lads are playing for their futures as well, because next season half them will be missing when we get to the championship. I still believe we will. But not with that bloody performance, we won't be. You know, we lost to Lincoln City. Lincoln City, not Sheffield, or Sheffield Wednesday, or Lincoln City. And I was talking to people saying, oh, we could have got a draw again against Lincoln City. If I didn't come, every time I come to this place, it costs me a price of a season ticket. That's not value for money. It costs me a season ticket to lose against Lincoln. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. No. It's not good enough.
Well, we've had discussions with Alex, with Ben, about striker, about approach play. Which particularly stood out to you as Paul? Was it the striker? Was it the approach play? Because I feel we were very our vulnerabilities or our weaknesses were on full show this afternoon. We moved the ball like we found Paul Lambert's asthmatic snout.
We moved the ball backwards. We moved the ball sideways. We didn't move the ball forwards. And I don't get that, because the lads weren't even looking for it. There was not one player there today going, pass the ball to me. They kept on passing sideways all the time. At one time, actually, Wolfenden was up there and I go, you do not pass that ball. Do not pass that ball. What do you do? Pass it back. I don't know why. Even if he just shot towards the corner flag, I just don't get it sometimes. I mean, these lads are professional footballers. I'm not saying they're rubbish. But today, the fella who's trained for 20-odd years doesn't know how to pass the ball, doesn't know how to kick the ball forward towards the opposition goal. It's Lincoln. There's 27,000 people here looking. And fairness, actually, I thought the crowd were a bit quiet. I thought the crowd weren't, baying them in. Now, I'll be shot for saying that, but
no, it's something we spoke about yesterday on the show with regards to, messages to fans that have, not been here for a while or returning or brand new.
No, just in the second half, that's the end. That's supposed to be the big singers and all that. They weren't calling them in. They weren't getting that goal into the back of the net. They weren't.
That's a fair comment. I feel the passion. I love the passion. And I feel how raw and real it is.
It's sort of frustrating, because when you come here, it's fantastic. You don't realise how handy you have it. You really don't. For me, just like coming to the San Siro, it really is. It's bonkers. I know it's that. I know. And I'm sober. No, but it is. I love this place. I think it's just fantastic. I love the team. But we're a League One outfit, and we showed that again today, unfortunately.
We did.
Unfortunately.
For real. Colin. Yeah, Colin.
Colin, do you want to talk?
Come have a chat with Mark.
Hello, Mark. All right. I better say hello to Lucy, who's at home watching this probably.
Hello, Lucy. Well, it was very, very. At times, I thought it was very pedestrian. I thought we was very slow in our build-up. We seemed to, it never seemed to be too much. Like going, so to speak.
We went in a hurry. They're very pedestrian.
I thought that, and
we started too flatly then.
Yeah, I thought we was as flat in the first half. Sorry, in the second half as it was in the first half. I don't think anything really changed. Only the fact that we brought subs on, and I must admit the subs who came on actually did make a difference. I've got to say that. Edwards, I thought, was very good when he came on. I thought Edwards was very good when he came on.
He came on probably too late.
I thought John Jules done okay. But, you know, we're talking about professional footballers here, Mark. And, you know, they've obviously got the technique and everything. But, you know, sometimes you wonder, you know, I sit in the, or stand in the North Stand, I suppose you've got to say. And sometimes I really question certain players. I'll not mention those. I question certain players' technique. You know, I mean, going back in the day, you know, you give like some of those opportunities we had in the second half, especially up the north. You give them opportunities to people like PM or Walkie or Trevor Wymark. I could name Alan Brazil. You know, they would be in the back of the net. I know they were at a different level. They were international footballers. I understand. I get that. But you know, I think we do. Hello, Mark. How are you? Yeah, fine, thank you.
Maybe this is just another reality check that we're in League One and League One players are inconsistent. And that's why they play. You know, technically they're all the same, but they're inconsistent and that's why they're playing at this level. That's why very few of them will follow us next season.
I get that.
You know, up to the championship.
I get that and I agree with that. I'll ask you a question, Mark. I know I was putting you on the spot. How many players who started that game today do you think could start in the championship? Who started that game today? Started the game today.
For me, the only two players who looked half decent today were Wolfenden and Morsey. You know, Leif Davis looked all right.
Leif Davis was okay. But I'd have given him man of the match personally.
I hate to say it, but Burns from last year wasn't there today for me. Harness wasn't there for me today. Chaplin wasn't there for me today. You know, Donasian is a bit of recently. Just needs maybe they just need a hook. And you know, at times I looked, and this is mad me saying this, but I thought you looked tired today.
Yeah,
I thought you looked really tired.
You mentioned Wes, Mark. I mean, for me, Wes is always the kind of player who is always likely to either, you know, assist or get a goal. So I would, especially this league, I'd have him in the team probably all the time. But you know, there are, you know, times where, you know, you have to, you know, say to yourself, you know, question certain things. But yeah, it's very, very easy to say when we've lost, because, you know, your feelings are through the roof. Especially like, you know, I see Martin now, and I totally agree with the boy. You know, his eyes are telling me everything, and you know, it just so upsets me that not every time that we get 26, 27, 28,000, but most times, I say most times when we get that kind of crowd, we seem to let ourselves down.
The players don't turn up,
we seem to let ourselves down, and I agree with what Mark said earlier. And Martin will agree with this, because I don't often, you know, I said it to one or two people in the North Stand, I thought the crowd were flat today. And when, you know, they always say, does the players lift the crowd lift the players, vice versa. But, you know, sometimes I think to myself, you know, if I was wearing that blue shirt, I'd be wanting to lift that crowd from a personal point of view. I'd want to be lifting that crowd.
I think the players just had an off day today. Unfortunately,
they did.
If they want to get promoted this year, they can't have many off days like that. They just can't.
Well, no. I mean, no, I totally agree.
And it's not rocket science, and you don't want them to lose their place. You know, it's just like they're only like that 4-point cushion should have been kept against Lincoln. Really, it wasn't. So now we're back to. I'm not saying we're back to scratch. We're not. But I mean, we've an all to do.
I must admit, I said a couple of weeks ago, I wouldn't want to see Ipswich lose any more than 6 games this season. And we lost 2 now in 14. So that's about on par to lose about 5 or 6 in a season. if you think about 2 in 14, that is, you're losing, on that average, you're losing 6 in 40, in about 46 games. So, you know, look, I don't want nothing to do with the playoffs.
No one does.
No, I don't want nothing to do with the playoffs because we all know what I'm going to say. It is a lottery. You know, you can go in the playoffs as the best side. It doesn't mean to say you're going to win them because the best side didn't win the playoffs last year.
No.
MK Dons were the best side in the playoffs for me last season. And and we all know what happened to them. And we all know what happened is happening to them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'll tell you what, if they don't watch themselves, big shout, they could be a big relegation back. MK
no, I
Dons.
agree.
This is a team that in my opinion,
should have been promoted
to the championship.
Should have, would have, could have.
Yeah.
Who stood out for you in the town shirt before we round up, Colin?
Sorry, Mark.
Who stood out in the town shirt for you? I know it's a hard in defeat, but who didn't deserve to lose?
I'd have to give it a Leaf Davis, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because I think he was the best of a bad bunch today. I've got to say that. I hate to say it. I hate to say it every time. And I don't very often say it, as everybody knows, but I thought he was the best of a bad bunch today.
Fair enough.
You know,
the seagulls are circling. The crunch has been in the club shop. The world continues to turn.
In the merchandise.
This is for Alex.
We'll grab Richard's thoughts tomorrow. He's hesitant tonight. He's too fuming, he says.
I'm not fuming.
Oh, he's not fuming.
It's football.
Thoughts on some players? Do you want to give me some quick thoughts on players?
Throw some names at me.
Leif Davis.
Man of the match.
Lee Evans.
I thought he was good.
Yeah.
Wesley Burns.
Poor.
Most disappointing player.
Danassian.
Is he championship ready?
Danassian?
Yeah.
Possibly not. And another one I thought was poor today. I agree with the fisherman, Chaplin. Poor. That was his quick free kick where he gave the ball away that led to the corner, and then they got another 2 corners that led to the goal. So listen, too many players today, Martin, underperformed.
Absolutely. They did underperform. Yeah, and I know that feeling well, being a Bears fan. Just as I see my NFL podcast flashing the notification. Mark Pritchford agreed Curtis replacing with Jackson and Harrison was madness, though. Ladapo going off. Did you agree with that one? Because I didn't. I struggled with that.
He's another one I thought struggled mine today. I thought, who's the number 5 centre half for Lincoln with a beard? Matt said.
Very good.
Outstanding. But he's probably man of the match for them. Look, they came with a game plan. Mark Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Done the number on us, didn't they? They did. But you
They
can't
really
have
did.
too many more Lincolns, Martin, if you want to finish in the top 2 of this division.
No, you
because
certainly
it's going to be
can't.
tight this season. So we can't be dropping points to teams like Lincoln. Look, let's not get carried away. It's 1 defeat, isn't it? So
Your thoughts on Burns?
I was poor today. Yeah, I agree.
Rich, I don't think we can afford to lose any more than 6 games to finish in the top 2.
Well, we've lost 2. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think Wigan lost 8, didn't they? Last
They
year,
did,
rather
they
than
did,
10.
yeah.
So let's wait and see.
Okay.
But
Thoughts on Davis, Matt?
Yeah, decent. Thought he did well.
Anyway.
It's difficult when he off the back. of
anyway,
defeat,
roll on
but-
the big game.
What, Cambridge, Pitch Cup?
We'll be there at the Abbey.
Right, we're live tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Botswana's going to be there.
And the Abbey! We'll be there for the Mickey Mouse Cup. We'll be there at Wembley Stadium.
Perfect. We'll be there live tomorrow at 1:30, Talking Town. Just before Colin has a conversation with Rich again. 1:30 live. Myself, Matt, and Rich. Hit the join button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Maestro, hit my end broadcast.